Welcome to DNA of Grace. I'm Joshua Ranasinghe. Now, this segment is pretty important because we are talking about the fivefold ministry and what is the purpose and the job of the fivefold ministry. Let's take a look at it. As we know that fivefold ministry is supposed to bring us to the maturity and the stature of Christ. So that is the job of the fivefold ministry. So we're going to talk about a little bit about it, and it's on the book of Ephesians. Let me just put the timer here. Okay, book of Ephesians chapter 4, and so he gave gifts, as you can see in chapter 4 verse 7 on, but each one of us grace was given according to the measure of the Christ gift. So grace is also given because we need grace, abundance of grace, Romans 5:17, gift of righteousness and abundance of grace to reign in life, right? So certain amount of grace is given that as a gift of Christ, as we can. When he ascended high, he released the captives and the door was open and gave gifts to men. So now this he ascended, that also he says so we're going to jump into verse 11, and he himself gave some to be apostles, prophets, evangelists, some pastors, teachers, equipping of the saints, verse 12, of the work for the work of ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. So the work of ministry, edify the body of Christ. You need to understand where you need to be. That's where your grace is. Grace is given till we all come to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to a perfect man, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Now this is where the key parts are. So you have been given grace to fit into a place, and grace will flow to build up, and always to build up and to serve. And so till we come to the unity of the faith. So have we not come to the unity of the faith? I mean, like, we believed in Jesus, that Jesus died and rose on the third day. So that is unite us. Now actually that unites me and Jesus. Now unity of Christ, unity of the faith, of the knowledge of the Son of God. Now unity of the faith. Now the issue is, I can get the understanding of that, and then you have to get the understanding of it, and then you and I can walk together. So if we each one don't get understanding of it, then it's difficult for us to walk together. Now we are united individually with Christ, yes, but we are not united with each other. So that is a problem. So now it goes also to say, to the stature and the fullness of Christ, to a perfect man, to the measure and the stature of the fullness of Christ. So that means when Christ was on earth, he had perfect understanding, perfect of this, right? Or even right now, he wants us to be this. Even at that time, he started probably more and more now to unite, because if we divide, we can't stand. He himself said it. He understood it at that time. So he tried to bring unity among the disciples, with himself and with each other. Now, bringing unity with himself is not that difficult, because we all want to serve him and so on, right? But unity with each other is difficult, because we have not come to the rightful place where unity exists with each other. That is the job of the fivefold ministry. To the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we should no longer be children, tossed to and fro, carried away with every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men, in the cunning craftiness of deceitful plotting, speaking the truth in love, right? And then if you go to verse 20, but you have not learned, after that he describes before verse 20 all the things that the trickery of man. But you have not learned Christ, if you indeed you have learned him and have been taught by him, put off concerning your former conduct. So he's saying, if you are taught by Christ, it should be the Christ mind that you should have. That's the way. In fact, he says in a different place that have the same mind as Christ, right? Then verse 23, and renewing in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man. So the spirit of your mind, so the spirit that you are born of the Spirit of God, that you have the same mind as Christ. And now, but we have different minds because we live on earth and we have our issues. But it says that you have the mind of Christ. So you can transfer that thinking pattern into your natural mind, so the Spirit's mind into your natural mind, so that you start to think like Christ. Now, but still, what is the point that we come to the perfect maturity and to the level that we can be united in faith, that stature of the fullness of Christ? So this is where we are aiming to be, the fullness of Christ. That is his mind. So when it's his mind, that is his priority. We are united here with him, like he, in fact, he prayed in book of John that we are, that just like the Father and him are one, that we will be one, and we will be one with each other and with him. So we see this is the direction we are going. So this is the job of the fivefold ministry. Grace is given. If you are in the fivefold ministry, or any ministry for that matter, your grace, a measure of grace is given to us. If you are in the fivefold ministry, this is the job description, that you are to bring this about. Now, if you don't know how to bring it about, and then you have to learn it, because you can't bring it about something, this is, you think how it is. No, it has to come from the Spirit, and it's written down to the stature of Christ. That means you are perfect, a human who is perfect, understanding, and so on, just like Christ is. And you can walk with one another. We are united. There are no different denominations. Yes, we united believing in Jesus, but nevertheless, we are not united with each other. That means we all have to learn to submit to one another, so that we can learn from one another and move forward. And that is the whole point of it. That's the job of the fivefold ministry. The job of the fivefold ministry to bring this about and teach them to serve the people, and that's what it is. So now we kind of have this understanding that to renew your mind till you come to the maturity, bringing awareness. This is what I want to emphasize. Bringing awareness, this is the purpose, so that if you are seeing this, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. So now the whole ball game kind of changes your strategy to recourse yourself to learn this and to move that way. That is the whole idea. But you need to test this. So you have to know whether it's true or not, because the word says test all things. So is this like Christ? Is this what Christ wants? And is this his plan, that to unite all of us and to stand ground on earth to bring about his kingdom, give the right invitation for the bridegroom to come, and so on. So if this is the plan you think he is, then if you are not understanding, if you're not walking in it, if you're not hearing this and learning this, then you need to think of what your next steps are going to be. You need to change course, and that also you can't do it. You kind of have to ask the Lord, okay, Lord, I see this, I'm not there. How am I go from where I am to that place? Get into that course, right? That direction. So that's the fivefold ministry. I want you to emphasize that it's not to lord it over others. That's not how this kingdom works. We know that. It is to shoulder to each other, so that we can walk shoulder to shoulder. My grace overflowing from me to you, and your grace overflowing from you to me. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. So, because that's the way the Spirit is walking. Now, we have to align with the Spirit. That's the way the Spirit is walking, because he's walking according to the King of Kings. He's the one who baptizes us with the Spirit, so that's how it works. Since you are now aware of the fivefold ministry and the purpose and what they're supposed to be and doing and so on, so it actually helps you to navigate your life, because it's important for you to fulfill what He has called you to do. So it is up to you to find it out and get the fivefold ministry involved to support it and to grow. So I'm glad you looked at it, and don't forget to comment and take a look at the other videos.